Diva Speaks Relationships Podcast is the hottest, grown, and sexy relationship conversation piece out of the Queen City. No relationship matter is off limits. Sex, marriage, love, betrayal, dating, side pieces, adultery, religion, and finances are all a part of the discussion because your relationship matters. Now, here's your host, the Diva, Angela Porto Real.
All right, so welcome to Diva Speaks Relationships, and welcome to Sunday, 2021. You have just tuned in to the hottest, grown and sexy relationship podcast out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I want to thank you for tuning in this Sunday. Thank you for joining the show. And I have a very special guest returning to the studio. I have Miss Ivory K in the studio today, so we can definitely continue the discussion from last night. If you was in the house, if you was able to see the Facebook Live, or if you was in the studio last night in the chat room, you know that you actually was able to receive some useful information from a woman's perspective as it relates to taking accountability for as a woman, your role in the distress of a relationship or the demise of it. So again, welcome to the show, everybody, this Soulful Sunday. We're so glad to have you. So as always, I like to start off the show by thanking my loyal followers and subscribers. I thank you for your loyal support on this journey. It has been amazing, and it is my commitment to you to deliver not only entertainment, but educational as well as responsible content. Because I understand that relationships are ultimately important to everyone, to us all. And just thank you so much for your support. I do understand that in a world of podcasts where you have literally teetering at a million different podcasts that are at your disposal, that you chose to listen to Diva Speaks Relationships. So I do not take that privilege lightly. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. As a reminder, if you have not followed me on social media, I would love for you to do so. You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Diva Speaks, the little underscore sign, official. Again, my Instagram handle is Diva Speaks, the underscore sign, official. You can also find me on Facebook. My Facebook handle is True Diva Speaks. Now, if you follow the Facebook page, there's also a group that you could join as well. It's called Real Women Candid Conversations. Now, don't let the title scare the men off. Men are also welcome to participate. You know, I have a little group so far, but they're shy. They don't like to engage as much. Nobody likes to put themselves out there. I do understand that. So the more we grow, hopefully I'll have some people that are bold enough to come in and give opposing views or validate the ones that are on the timeline, whatever, so on and so forth. I just want to put that out there for you. And you know what? I do recognize that sometimes we don't always agree, right, Miss Ivory K?
We don't, and it's okay.
And it's okay. And there are times when maybe you feel like your side of the conversation or the situation was not represented well. So I invite you to email me. You can email me at divaspeaksofficial@gmail.com. Once again, my email address is divaspeaksofficial@gmail.com. Also, you can visit the website. I have a website. The website is diva- not the word, but the symbol, diva-speaks-official.com. Visit the website. It'll direct you to all my social media pages. It'll give you little snippets of videos, my thoughts and opinions and analogies on different situations and my appearances on different platforms. So I invite you to visit the website. So you got all of these things at your fingertips where you can access the Diva, follow the Diva, engage with the Diva, and I welcome all of you. And one more thing. Should I tell them?
Go on and tell him.
Should I tell them?
Go on and tell him.
I ain't gonna tell them.
Go on and tell him.
I'm gonna tell them.
Tell him, girl.
You can find Diva Speaks on TV. Now, I'm not talking about like a website that
But y'all
has
didn't hear that TV, though.
TV. I'm not talking about like a website that
Say it
has
again, Diva.
TV in the title. TV.
Okay.
Television.
Okay.
You can find Diva Speaks on television every second and fourth Friday at 11 p.m. on Access 21. You heard me. Every second and fourth Friday at 11 p.m. you can find Diva Speaks Relationships on Access 21. Okay, so where is that? It's channel 21, but let me break it down a little bit further. If you subscribe or have Spectrum cable, if you have AT&T Uverse, if you have a Roku television, or if you just want to keep it simple and you have the internet, then you can access Diva Speaks Relationships on TV. And it is at 11 o'clock because it is adult content. So I had to fall into that category of, I have to be after hours because the Diva covers all things relationships, and definitely is not a platform or a show for children because I tend to talk about topics that are not kid friendly. So every second and fourth Friday, visit me. Welcome me into your homes via your television set. And the next show is scheduled to air January the 22nd. That's right. Mark your calendars. January the 22nd is when the next show for Diva Speaks Relationships on TV will be airing. And if you did not get a chance to see my premiere episode, I'm not sure why it's not uploaded on the video on demand section of the TV station's website, but be patient. I'm phoning into the office tomorrow. I will handle things and I'll get you a date. And then for those of you who missed out on the premiere, you will have the option of looking at the show at your discretion or whenever time permits. So I think we have gotten all of that out of the way. Thank you for your patience while I get all of the business of things out of the way and discuss. So, hoocha! I feel like that was a show right there. I just talked, you know what I'm saying? But you know what? I'm responsible because here's what I didn't do today. What I'm going to do different from last night. Last night, I was under the influence of spirits. No, I'm not talking about demonic stuff. No, I'm not. No, erase that. I'm talking about Miss Ivy over there got me a little tipsy. So, I know better. So I got some. A diva has water.
Absolutely.
Because a true lady is never thirsty, baby.
Come on
Never
now.
thirsty, okay?
No,
never
never.
that. So
Never
anyway,
thirsty.
so we are going to continue the conversation, Miss Ivory, about accountability. Accountability and a woman's role in a relationship that is in distress or a relationship that is falling apart. The demise of the relationship. Because sometimes with all of your best efforts and with all of your prayers and your support system, sometimes with all of that working for you, it still doesn't help to have saved the relationship. So we're going to continue the conversation. So Miss Ivy, do you want to, I guess, kind of bring the audience up to speed as far as what we talked about last night, and then we can kind of move forward with where we're going today with the conversation, because I got some things I want to get off my chest that you said earlier that, you know, it kind of rattled a sister. You was pushing buttons like this right here.
Well, hey, accountability. We're being accountable. But, as the diva said, last night we talked about quite a few things. We talked about being accountable where we fell short in the relationship.
Okay.
Why it happened.
Past trauma.
Triggers. Parenting.
Triggers.
Women looking for fathers in their mates.
We talked about that?
We did. See that wine, girl, that wine.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. It was the wine, girl. We got to we can't have muscadine wine. We're going to stay on the water today as we finish this conversation for y'all.
Really?
So where we going to start, Diva?
We've started the show.
That's it. We're in there.
We're like 9 minutes and 56 and counting seconds
and
into
we're
the show.
in there.
Okay, so we were discussing earlier as we were preparing to, hey, Steph, hey, my love. That's my classmate, hometown friend. Thank you for tuning in, Stephanie. So we was talking earlier in preparation for the show. You know, when us women get together, when any set of divas get together and we decide to have a conversation about any and all relationships, it can get dangerous. It can get dangerous. And my sister said something that I needed to push forward. I wanted to expand on that. So Miss Ivory, I'm just going to bring them up to speed. So we was talking about, okay, so being woman enough and mature enough to acknowledge your wrongs or what you brought to the table in terms of the relationship now being in distress. An example. Okay, so I know that I'm just giving an example. I tend to overtalk you. I don't let you finish your sentences. I am confrontational. I do not respect boundaries. And I'm totally dismissive of your feelings. These are just some examples of perhaps maybe a person could be guilty of. So Ivy and I, we were talking and she was like, yeah, you know, it's good to be accountable, whatever. And then she starts talking about this and she was like, but once we've had that conversation, no matter how many times we've had to have the conversation with your partner, your spouse, your significant other, and they just don't get it. They want to stay in that sunken place. Remember we talked about last night, I said, Ivory, what does a woman get out of it when she's owning her shit? She's taking accountability for the things that she has done wrong. She is acknowledging the areas that she falls short. I ask you, what does she get out of it if her counterpart, if her man does nothing? If he gets to continue his bad behavior, he doesn't take accountability for the shit he's done.
And I get that, Diva.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that we are focusing on us and we're focusing on our accountability. And as we carried over our conversation in today, as we were having lunch, I spoke on how important it is to not look for anything. Being accountable is just where it lies. Being accountable.
So that's where she pushed my button. Because last night you were talking about there should be no expectation. It should be more of a character thingamajiggy to acknowledge what I've done wrong. But here's where we differ. Because I think even if there's no changed behavior on the part of the man in the relationship, at minimal, I expect forgiveness. I expect forgiveness because here's what's going to happen. If a woman takes accountability for everything she's ever done wrong in the relationship and he's just on the receiving end of her acknowledgments, right? He's on the receiving end of her wanting to better herself, to be a better partner to him. He's just sitting there taking it all in. I'm asking you to actually give me the consideration of that platform of listening to me. Once I've acknowledged that and I'm asking for your forgiveness and you choose not to do anything on your end and you choose not to forgive me, I really think that is pretty much the benediction. Because what you cannot do as a woman is stay in a relationship where you're the only one taking accountability, you're the only one apologizing, and you're the only one asking for forgiveness, and you're the only one that sees an issue in the relationship, but there's not a joint effort on both parts to make it better.
And that makes perfect sense.
And I think that's why a lot of women don't, own up to their shit, at least with him. Because once I do that, there is a level of expectation that I have from you. But go ahead.
I get it. It's perspective. So with perspective,
if you say so,
you have to be real with yourself and where you are in self-growth. And as we're going into these relationships, we need to understand what our purpose is in the relationship. We're both coming to the table with an expectation of the very best from he, from she. But all I can be concerned about is she. All I can do is bring my very best to the table. In every single relationship we choose to put ourselves out there with the possibility of disappointment. Now, that can be taken two ways. It could be looked at as, well, come on, sis, you're just going to go into this relationship and you're going to be toxic from the beginning and you're just going to think about being disappointed.
Right.
Or you're going to go in optimistically and realize that I'm going to have grace. Where's the grace? We're not giving each other grace. Not only do we need to be accountable, we need to offer grace.
Okay, so I'm giving you some resistance here.
Okay.
Grace can only last for so long. Because
who says?
I say.
Okay.
I say.
All right.
Because a relationship cannot stand. A relationship cannot continue to function well, be healthy, be godly, be spiritual, be thriving if there's only one person putting in the effort to take ownership of bad habits, bad behavior, and then putting in the work to restore the relationship to a happy place.
And in that restoration process, each person needs to be accountable for the part that they played to get to a place where it's broken to even be restored.
Well, we're talking about the woman's role now.
So the woman's role,
we're talking about
in this position,
right,
is to restore where she was broken. So if you've come to that table and you've broken something on that table, we got a set of dishes, we got a knife, we got a fork.
Right.
And I done took that dish and slammed it and broke it in half. So now my partner wants to know, where's that being driven from? Well, I got a whole story that in the dating process, I chose not to share. So now let's be transparent. Let's talk about Ivory's story.
Oh.
And as we talk about Ivory's story, we're going to talk about some real.
Okay.
I chose to start dating, believing that I was single for 2 years, and I had dealt with my stuff. And then it took a relationship for me to see.
A new relationship?
A new relationship. A new relationship to understand that I wasn't healed in some areas that caused me to break that plate on a new table with a new partner. Because see, I had broke a lot of plates already. And I took all my plates, I put them in a bag, I carried them with me, left out that relationship, and went to set them up at a new table. I ain't glued none of those pieces back together.
So you just breaking shit.
Just breaking shit.
You know what they say?
All
hurt people
hurt people. And I hurt a man.
One being an adjective.
One, a man.
And then the other one being a verb.
Absolutely.
Hurt, the adjective. Hurt, the verb. Hurt people. Hurt people.
And he didn't understand where it was coming from. And it's coming from past traumas. It's coming from negativity. It's coming from trigger points. It's coming because I simply didn't understand what was needed in this relationship, because every step that he took, I based it off of what I previously experienced. So although we got two people who need to be accountable, and if I give you something, you need to give me something back, and you're telling me that you need me to sit here and lay it out on the line so we can restore this. Right now, I'm only focusing on the woman, and there's not enough women. And women, I'm gonna ruffle some feathers.
Ruffle them.
Not enough of us saying the part we play, because the light has been shined according to society for the man to be the fuck up. Well, guess what, sisters? A lot of us are the fuck up. I am one of them. I raise my hand proudly. But I'm restoring myself. I'm taking accountability.
Okay, so hold on. Let me read Stephanie's comment. Stephanie says, all I have control over is self and my accountability. But if we're on the same page, then we both should share in that matter if we plan to grow together. Stephanie, I definitely agree with you. That's ideal, honey. That is ideal. I mean, there are moments and times in your relationship, that you're not on the same page. There are times when people can be stubborn and they're not taking accountability in the time frame that you expect them to. Your level of expectation of them taking accountability and then redirecting that negative behavior and turning it into something positive doesn't fit your time schedule, so you become impatient. I mean, I just think it's, I appreciate your comment. I love it. I'm just saying, boo, it's just sometimes that's just ideal, because you're not always on the same page. You're not always going to see eye to eye. So I understand what you say, where you only have control over yourself. I totally agree. I'm focusing on the part that once I know what I can control and I'm doing my best as a woman in a relationship to identify the behaviors that have caused trauma to the relationship, I then in turn have an expectation of my partner, whether that is to then look at themselves, a moment of self-reflection, and possibly identify the areas that they could work on. And then I was talking about this a few moments earlier, forgiveness. No relationship can thrive or move forward without forgiveness. So if you got a partner who then is on the receiving end, as I said earlier, of you taking ownership of your shit, and they're just withholding forgiveness. The only thing they want to do is continue to beat you down with the things that you have done. You know what I'm saying? I think you typically see that in relationships where there's a narcissist involved, where they never apologize for anything that they have done. They never acknowledge their wrongdoing. They never see an issue with the way that they treat you and or talk to you. So they will just, sometimes I feel like, especially if you're in a relationship with a narcissistic person, they take your moment of vulnerability, they take your moments of transparency, and they then in turn use that information against you. And as I talked about last night, then they start to, well, this is why the relationship is like this, is because you're a fucked up person, or you're like this and you're like that. And it's like, okay, so we're just never going to get to the point of forgiveness. We're never going to get to the point of you looking at what you have done. I just feel like, especially as a believer, and I could be wrong, this is just my interpretation, I just feel like there's always a level of expectation somewhere. I feel like even God has an expectation when he does stuff for us. So if I'm made in his image, I'm not just doing stuff out here arbitrarily in my relationship. What do you say to that, Ivory? I hated to go there, but
I beg to differ.
Okay, go ahead. We can disagree.
So, again, as we are being accountable. Forgiveness.
Yes.
We ask for, because we've done something wrong.
Okay, we ask for it. Okay.
Being forgiven is the offendee's choice. I'm the offender. I'm being accountable.
Then please stop saying that how you're such a Christian and you're this and you're that. If you choose not to,
but forgiveness is in our timing, not in the timing of the person who has offended us.
Will God say that to you?
He will.
No, he won't.
He might.
Okay, why? I'm so petty. Go ahead, though.
However, we're not dealing with God. The goal is to be Christ-like.
Yes.
But the men that we're dating, a lot of them don't even know God. You're asking forgiveness of a man who doesn't even begin to know what it is to extend grace, to get grace, to grace what mercy is,
yes,
what's given to them every single day.
Yes.
So now we have a blow up. We're arguing. I'm one to raise my hand, ladies. My mouth is ruthless. I will tear you to pieces and have to regret what it is that I said.
I have a tornado in my mouth, so I have no room to judge.
So now I'm looking for extended grace from a man who doesn't know that he is extended grace every single day. You can't expect from someone what they not know.
So here's my thing. Okay, so I know this is gonna sound messed up, but let me remind you guys that I love to keep it real. I don't profess to be perfect. I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to be this super Christian. I'm not trying to be any of that. But I'm just gonna say something here. I feel that when a woman steps up and she takes ownership of her shit, right? And she's humble enough to ask her partner for forgiveness. If you choose not to, that is your business. But here's where Angela, and I'm speaking for myself.
Okay. Speak on
once
it.
I've apologized, once I've acknowledged, once I have pleaded and I've asked for forgiveness and I prayed about it, once God has forgiven me, it's like fuck you at this point. Because what a woman should not do is be running around here begging a man to forgive her. It takes two people for a relationship to totally fall apart. Now, one could be more so at fault than the other, but most relationships don't fail on the actions of totally, I said most, not all, because I understand there are some extenuating circumstances where a person has done something and the relationship is over solely on those grounds. But I'm talking about, listen, hypothetically, if I don't know, if I cussed your mama out, if I cussed your mama out, or I have a tendency to cuss your mama out when we don't agree, and that has led to a lot of tension between us, it's caused the relationship to enter a turbulent season, and then I come to you and I apologize, I make amends where I need to make amends, I say, well, you know what, I recognize that this is what I've done wrong, and I'm going to work on that, or I'm just going to totally go cold turkey and stop that bad behavior. I will never do this again. And I prayed about it, and let's just go all the way to the left. I'm going to counseling for it because I realize that maybe I have an anger issue. Once I do all of that and I'm good with God, if you choose to continue to walk in unforgiveness, if you choose to continue to be angry, I'm sorry. Respectfully, I say fuck you. Because I'm not going to beg. I ain't going to do it.
But then
I see you rolling your eyes.
Why are you not going to do it, Diva? Like, where is the love?
What woman should be begging no, stop, erase, start over. What human being should be begging another human being to forgive them? Really, that is what we're doing? I need to beg for your forgiveness?
You don't need to beg, but you need to allow them to have the room to try to forgive without telling them it needs to be right now.
Ouch.
Because it's never when we say so.
So, okay.
You're going to offend me right now.
Right.
At this very moment. We're in this relationship.
Right.
We're going to switch this a little bit for y'all. We're going to go into the sisterhood relationship. Oh. You've offended me. I'm your sister. Well, Diva, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Okay.
I want to go out tomorrow night for drinks.
Wait, no, seriously. Okay, this is Ivory and Gayla talk. Sis, you hitting below the belt now.
You know it.
Because you know how I feel about snakes in the sisterhood.
Absolutely.
Because, honey, first of all, I'm a very guarded woman.
Yes.
I'm a very private woman.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I'm a woman with a skill set.
Yes.
That I can do very much harm to you just by speaking to you.
Right.
So if I allow you into my inner space,
right.
If I allow you the privilege of a friendship to get to know me, I'm engaging with you. I open not only my home and my heart to you, but a level of trust, and you backstab me. What do you want me to do with that?
I want you to forgive me. Because guess what?
We talking no
relationship.
Hey, what?
Relationship.
No, I'm not sleeping with you.
It's okay, but I want you to forgive me.
With you.
Because guess what? Our souls are just as tied as you and your husband.
Okay, bam. Let me tell you something else. How about this? I can forgive you, and I don't ever have to F with you again, honey.
And my husband can forgive me.
And that's what I'm saying. The same principle applies to that man.
Right. And he can forgive us and never have to F with us again. But in that process, I became accountable. I've grown as a woman. I've understood where I fell short. I'm not running behind you. You chose not to forgive me. You chose to move forward. You chose to say, I'm not going to deal with her and her shenanigans. You're entitled to that, sir. You're entitled to that, ma'am. But as an individual, I have discovered what true accountability is. That's part of self-love. There is no self-love.
Well, hold on. If you're not going to forgive, then just say that. Don't drag a person back. No, you should not. You gotta be. That's my thing. Okay. That is my thing. If you know that you are not going to forgive that woman for whatever she has done, the example I gave was cussing out your mama, then just tell that woman that. Don't drag that woman through the mud. Don't continue to administer punishment by what you deem necessary. Well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that to hurt her, to try to break her down. Like, dude, if you're not going to forgive that woman, just let that woman go. There's no need for you to stay there. There's no need for you to try to break her down. There's no need for you to try to act all macho and show the world that you're the stronger person by attempting to belittle her and expose her at her moment of weakness and vulnerability. Right. That makes you a punk. Right. That makes you a punk, and that makes you less of a Christian, because you knew from the moment that she opened her mouth that you was not going to forgive her, and you were holding unforgiveness in your heart. So no matter what that woman said, no matter what that woman did, you were already out the door. Absolutely. You had already made up your mind. I'm not gonna.
What does the diva get?
So wait a minute. So why were you there?
Why was it? Where I'm in at? Where I'm in at?
I know, Tina. That's what she said. Tina says forgiveness does not mean restoration of the relationship. Yeah, I got
you know what, Tina? You're right.
Tina's always right.
She is right.
Tina's always right.
It doesn't mean restoration, but it's not done in the offender's timing.
Okay, Tina. So listen, now Bonquisha's coming out. Bonquisha's here.
Come on, Bonquisha. Come on.
Okay, Tina. Okay, Ivory. That is so easy to say. That's easy to say for most relationships. When it comes to like friendships, my auntie been stealing money out my bank account. I don't know. My cousin wrecked my truck and didn't pay me for it. Okay, I forgive you, but we will never be at that place that we once were. But do you really do that in relationships? Is that the principle that you can so effortlessly administer? I mean, really? Is it that easy to say, well, you know what? I can't forgive you, but I can't restore you. Is that really what we're doing in relationships? And if that is so, then that answers the age-old question that keeps resurfacing on social media about why relationships don't last as long as our grandmamas and our great-grandmamas bumped the stuff that they didn't have options, bumped the stuff that they didn't have as many economic opportunities as women do today. If we're going by that principle of I can forgive you, but I don't restore you, then guess what? None of these relationships are going to succeed. Miss Ivory, I shut you up, girl. I shut you up.
Well, you know.
Woo, I shut you up.
I took some time to process what you're saying.
Okay.
And I get it.
You should have gave me some wine. I'm
The water's good enough. We're going to stick on the water.
I got some.
On this holy, soulful Sunday.
All right. Spirit-filled Sunday. Fill me with some spirit.
And I get your rebuttals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to disagree.
How? How can you disagree on such an excellent point? How?
Perspective.
Go. You can try. Go ahead.
Perspective.
I forgive you for bringing this perspective. I forgive you too, Tina. I forgive you, girl.
So perspective says, I'm in a relationship. I fucked up.
Okay. I'm part of the fuck up. I'm not the reason. Okay, go ahead.
And I'm going to hold myself accountable.
I'm going to hold myself
So what we need to do.
What we need to do.
Is if you joined in on this conversation.
I'm so messy.
You go on and pull out that Webster's and look up what accountable is. Let's break the word down.
You ain't got to bring the dictionary.
Let's start with account.
You ain't got to bring the dictionary.
And then let's go to able.
Okay.
Account.
I can do
and
that.
Able.
Okay, go ahead. Wait a minute. Accountability.
You are taking on in the account. You're taking on the account to be able to do something by choice. So what are we going to do?
I guess Siri heard me because once I typed it up again.
Siri said, come on now.
Okay, accountability. The fact or condition of being accountable. Responsibility. Well, that didn't tell us much.
Being responsible.
Okay, go ahead.
For oneself.
Yes.
I know that he did his things to add into this fuel.
Yes, they did.
Yes, honey, we set this fire together. Boom! It done blew up.
Okay, he may have brought the matches. He lit the fire, I brought the gasoline.
And that's
We're
it.
equally responsible. Just because, but hold on. Just because you sin or I sin differently than your partner or my partner doesn't make my offense greater than yours.
It doesn't.
Okay.
But I'm still being accountable for me. I'm not focused. See, when we start to take the focus off of the other person's offense and think about what it is that we have done,
yes,
then we can truly be accountable. You cannot be accountable worrying about he, they, or them. You only can be accountable when you take that finger and point it back to you.
I'm just
part
saying.
of self-care and self-love is you. No one else can self-love you but you.
I have a question.
Come on, Diva.
So once you go, you take accountability, you ask for forgiveness, you get the therapy and or counseling that is needed to correct bad behaviors or improper influences. If you come back into the relationship a changed person, but that other person still has those toxic traits, that other person still is gaslighting you, that other person is still holding on to unforgiveness.
Now, I still want you to be accountable and remove yourself from that situation.
Okay, say that again, one more.
So I want you to remove yourself at that point and still be accountable for you, because you cannot control what they do.
And there she said it. She said it.
That's it. And at the end of the day, the word is still account. ACCOUNT.
Oh,
I have an account.
Did you spell?
I have an account.
Did you spell?
I spelled it. ACCOUNT. I have an account.
Yes.
To myself.
Okay.
And I am able
to
be accountable for self. I am able.
Yes.
Able to account.
Yes.
Account. Able. Accountable. Y'all take that word and do what you need to do with it.
Okay, so then the tables turn. So now the woman is in a position, I'm going to choose to forgive you for not forgiving me.
Is that really what you want to do? Is you being accountable?
No, I'm just, we can do that. We are women. We can do that. I'm just saying, you can look at it like that. Okay, so like you said, you're being accountable. You're going to take action. And guess what? I'm going to remove myself from this situation because I've done the work on self. I've acknowledged what the issue was for me. I understand that this newer version of myself may be better suited for someone else.
Because you're unable to forgive me. And sir, that is exactly your choice.
That's my point. So now the tables are turned. I am choosing to forgive you, sir, for being so petty and not forgiving me. And just for that, guess what, buddy? She said deuces. Okay, I'm having a little fun. But you guys get where I'm going with that. So now you hold on to your unforgiveness. I forgive you for not forgiving me. And just like my good friend, and let me tell you a little story about Miss Tina.
Come on.
Miss Tina from high school. She's always been a sweet. I have nothing but good memories of Tina. But sometimes the little messy people at school would get me and Tina when it was lunchtime, and me and Tina would have sing-offs. That fucking sing, honey. When I say sing, Miss, what is it? Miss Shug? Miss Shug, sing. Yeah, Tina could sing. But yeah, so, that's the point that I wanted to make. Like, I then take control of not only self, but I take control of the non-existent relationship that I've chosen to walk away from. Because now I can see my worth through your eyes, which meant that I really didn't mean that much. If you could hold on to unforgiveness in my moments of transparency, in my moments of vulnerability, if you can choose to be so petty and you can choose to exercise what you deem or look at as control in my lowest and weakest moments, you, sir, are a fraud. And you, sir, are an ex.
And you no longer deserve me.
You don't deserve me. You don't deserve me, sir.
You no longer deserve
me. I'm quite the woman.
Yes.
And
I'm moving on.
I'm moving on with my life, sir.
I'm moving on.
I'm moving on.
I'm grateful.
I'm walking.
I'm thankful.
I'm walking.
I'm blessed.
I'm walking.
And I'm accountable.
I'm walking.
And watch these accountable legs walk the other way.
Sometimes I think on a more serious side, we just cut up a little bit, because that's what we do. We like to cut up a little bit. I sometimes think that a misguided person holds unforgiveness over your head in an effort to control you.
Absolutely.
I think that they know that the moment that they forgive you, they have to release you, and then they themselves have to take accountability. Yes. But as long as I get to beat you over the head, as long as I get to regurgitate my laundry list of offenses that you have committed against me, I hold the power over you. I hold absolute power over you, because now you're walking around on eggshells. Obviously, you care enough about the relationship to take accountability and try to change. But I don't want to hear that. All I want to do is hold on to my anger, my unforgiveness, and I'm just going to continue to do an exercise in poor judgment and unforgiveness. You know what I'm saying? And I think bringing it all back to the reason why some women don't take accountability is because of the possibility of not only rejection, but dealing with an imperfect and immature partner who does not understand the depth and the what moment did you used a word to describe a moment, not a moment of weakness, but a moment that was so sacred and so fragile. You use that moment for your own advantage in a relationship. And I'm not making excuses for a woman, but on top of unforgiveness, I think sometimes a woman, if it goes to the extreme, will choose to exit the relationship because you're withholding forgiveness, is because now I can't trust you anymore. And this doesn't have anything to do with infidelity. I'm talking about trust in other areas that can be just as detrimental, not only to the woman, but to the relationship. I can't trust you anymore with anything intimate about me. I can't be intimate with you because you take my lowest and my most intimate and sacred moment and you use the information against me in an effort to destroy me and continue to exercise control of me and my behaviors in the relationship because you deem me as so desperate that I'm willing to accept how you treat me because I deserve it. I've been a bad girl. I've been bad. So
And
I
this is
deserve
why,
all of this.
as I be transparent,
girl.
I had to learn to apologize, accept my accountability, and remove myself. Because if you choose to sit with that, what you will not get the opportunity to do is talk to me every day.
Every day.
And remind me of a place where I'm no longer at. I'm not going to revisit.
Yeah.
I'm not going back, and I'm here. And I'm not telling you to forget the pain I caused you. But I'm telling you the process of forgiveness requires you to either go this way with me or you stay right there where you are, sir. Because I'm accountable, I'm self-love, I'm glowing, I'm growing, and I'm flowing. And I'm moving full speed ahead.
And I'm gorgeous.
Absolutely.
I wasn't talking about me. I was just talking about like
y'all.
I'm not vain.
Like,
I'm just
y'all.
saying like
Y'all.
me as in a woman.
Well,
Yeah, y'all.
Y'all get it?
Yeah, y'all. Not me.
I mean, because I'm gorgeous. I mean, it is what it is, you know.
Totally.
Okay. They just don't get it.
They don't
But,
get
yeah.
it. Like, oh my
Maybe
God.
they'll get it right now. It's okay. Okay.
They're super
So,
smart.
yeah. So we're flowing.
Yes,
We're growing.
Right.
We're moving. And he's there. And what I've most recently discovered in our current conversations is that he actually admitted that he's there because it's like, I wanted to kind of smack your hand, Ivory, like, you don't get to do this to me, but now I'm smacking your hand for every person that's ever done it to me. Now he's dealing with trauma.
Back up. Now I got to process it. I'm sorry. I'm truly needing you to back up and say that again.
He has shared with me that I wanted to smack your hand with a you did that.
Okay, that. Okay.
You did that to me.
Right.
And I should have done that versus now you're giving me the for everyone who has ever crossed that boundary with you. And I can't be Ivory, could not be held accountable in that relationship for everyone who has done or broken something with you. All I can do is be accountable for me.
Oh my God. I can't say what I want to say. Light bulb moment. Mm-hmm. Could that be the reason that most people hold on to unforgiveness? Because we're not only talking about your current relationship where the woman has had a misstep or two or few, but now you're holding on to every offense that every woman that you've ever been with has committed against you. So now you're going to take it out on this woman
because you didn't speak up for yourself over the years. Now you're here. And now you are blowing your top, in which you have every right to be based on what Ivory did to you. All I can be is accountable for me. Baby boy. I can't be accountable for her, she, they, and them. All I can be is accountable for me. And when I give you my heart-filled apologies and I start to walk it out on a daily basis, you can't keep taking me there. Because guess what's going to happen is you're going to get the reaction that you're looking for.
Oh.
Don't sit and pick and pull and stab at something that I've already said to you. I get it. I'm sorry. Give me the opportunity to fix it. Again, it's your choice.
It is.
If you don't want to allow me to fix it, you have that right. You have that right. And if it was vice versa, it would be my choice.
Yeah.
It would be my choice.
Right. Enter.
However, what we're not going to do is stay there. You want to love me? Then love me. And if you don't, that's your choice.
That is your business.
But you're not going to destroy me and belittle me and make me feel less than based on these incidents. Especially if you want to rebuild and restore.
Right. Then your actions need to speak that. You said something. I had this little funny thing that they do on TikTok. You know, all TikTok is a group of people doing the same thing. Everybody
who could do it better. Right.
There's this one that goes, now you can play with her. You can play with her. You can play with them. But you cannot play with me.
Okay.
Because that's playing.
And there's another one that says, I'm hood and I'm holy.
I'm hood and holy.
Pick which one you like to meet.
I ain't never been hood.
I have a little bit, y'all. Just a
bit.
I
get excited when I go.
A little bit.
I get excited when I go.
Yeah, you know, I got
for people that are, but wait a minute, for people that are on my personal Facebook page, I think everybody in Mississippi has connections to either Chicago or Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
If you're from Dallas, then you know what Big T Bazaar is. When I go home to Dallas, if you ain't rolling me by Big T, baby,
okay,
I gotta get my hood fixed.
Okay, just a little smell of it.
Ooh.
Right. Okay. Just want to step on the soil. Okay, just a little bit.
I don't know.
Good or holy, you pick your choice. But in all seriousness, at the end of the day, it's all about accountability.
It is.
Whether it's coming from he, she, they, them. It's accountability. And I understand as human beings that we get caught up in the cycle of, but you did, and you didn't, and you didn't, and I didn't, and it goes on, and the cycle goes on. And someone has to be of strength to break it. And necessarily not break it to reconcile, as I think Tina mentioned, right. But forgiveness doesn't require reconciliation or restoration. However, breaking the cycle sometimes is just simply saying, I am accountable for me. You do whatever you want to do with it.
I also want to add to that. And, I've been repeatedly talking about when as a woman, when you've stepped up, when you've talked about your desire to move forward and to correct bad behaviors and all of that. And then you have a man that wants to browbeat you and exist in a state of denial as to what he has done wrong. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of that scripture in the Bible, especially when it comes to the fruits of the Spirit. Mm-hmm. When you have a person like that lets you do all the work and they're just on the receiving end of your efforts, then you get to find out, not only, as I talked about earlier, your worth in their eyes, how they deem you, not your true worth, but you get to see how they look at you, but you also find out if that person really loves you. Because one of the fruits of the Spirit lets us know that love does not keep account of the injury. Mm-hmm. So if you got a person that is constantly browbeating you about everything you've ever done wrong, about every offense that has ever been committed, what they deem against them, crimes against humanity, now you're staring down the face of truth. It's a moment that you have to put on your big girl panties and say, you know what? Is it worth it for me to stay here any longer? If there is no forgiveness on the table, if there is no redemption, no matter what I do, if there's no fucking redemption for anything that I do, for anything that I say, for any change behavior, I'm out. Deuces. This is wasteful energy.
And
this is a waste of time.
Sit with the experience you had with me, and you can choose to see me as you so choose. Because guess what? I'm gonna give y'all something heavy. Woo. There are 7 billion people on this planet.
7.
And all of my experiences with all the people on this planet.
Yes.
If there's gonna be 1 or 2 that's going to shape me on my mistakes, let them have that, because I've already taken accountability.
I think also, if you want change behavior in your woman, I've seen a lot of memes about that. Change the way you treat her. Because we've already talked about.
You're speaking about something.
We've dug that in the ground, guys. We've talked about the woman taking hey, changer. Thank you, sweetheart. He said powerful. We've already talked about, I lost my thought.
Come on, man.
What was I saying?
Change behavior.
If you don't like what you're getting out of your woman, okay, then maybe you should change the way that you treat her. Change the way that you speak to her. But that's a conversation most men ain't willing to have.
Because guess what? We still are not taking.
Huh?
We're not taking accountability.
But that's been my advantage.
That's them.
Okay.
That's on them. Now we've reversed the table.
all I'm saying is, as we're wrapping this up, because time goes by so quickly.
Yes.
And it's guys, and I always like to just let people know that Diva Speaks Relationships is always from a woman's perspective. I love to remind you that we do invite the men to the table. We do invite the men to say so, but ultimately it's the woman that gets the last say around here. So what I just want to leave you guys with as a woman, and I'm speaking as a woman, okay? It's a powerful move on your part to own what you have done wrong. And as my good friend and school and classmate friend has said earlier, that, you know, even when you do all of that with your best efforts, it doesn't mean that your partner is going to forgive you. And you just got to roll out sometimes. And I don't ever promote walking away from relationships. I'm all about love, restoration, rehabilitating your relationship, building it up, being happy, thriving in your relationship. But there comes a point when you got to stand up for yourself and be like, you know what? I've done my due diligence. I'm doing the work. There's a long road ahead of me, but I'm committed to the process. I'm committed to the process as I have been to this relationship. Now, what I'm not going to do is beg you,
come on,
to relieve me,
come on,
of my transgressions. I'm not going to beg you for your forgiveness. I'm not going to let you beat me down and continue to treat me like sugar, honey, iced tea shit while you just run amok. No, that's not going to happen. And any woman that knows her worth knows that you cannot do that. Mm-hmm. Taking accountability, as Miss Ivory K has said, sometimes meaning taking account of what you've done wrong and totally exiting stage left. Because you deserve better than to allow a man to punish you for things that only God should be punishing you for.
Come on,
and
now,
once
Diva,
you have made it
speak.
right, once you have tried to make it
Diva.
right, as that scripture says, that you if you're at the altar, if you have a problem with your brother, you leave the altar, you go make it right with that person, then you come back. If you've done that in your relationship and you said, I'm sorry, I know where I messed up. I'm so sorry to have hurt you. I'm sorry for the things that I've done. I want to make it right, blah, 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 blah. And they still they want to hold on to the anger. They want to hold on to treating you like shit. They want to hold on to unforgiveness. It is time to walk in your queendom. Enough is enough. Because if you stay in that situation any longer, now you're creating another set of problems that the next man may have to experience with you. And how is that fair to you in your future? Oh, I love talking, guys. Time just got away from, I get passionate when we start talking about these men and sometimes how they be acting up, and then we be trying to make it right. And then
is that what happened?
Sometimes, sometimes your boyfriend.
Not today, though,
girl.
Because today we are accountable.
Oh man. Oh my God. If I could get paid $1 million a year just to talk about relationship, I could do it effortlessly, and I can bring this much passion to the platform each and every time, because relationships, I'm telling you guys,
they're the ground root for us as humans.
It's the basis of the Bible. It really is. Having a relationship with God, God interacting with us. Relational. Humans are relational beings. So I'm going to end it on that. Listen, I've said what I had to say. We're going to talk about some other things, ladies. The next conversation we're going to talk about that I want to have, I'm going to bring some men in. We got to let them talk a little bit. Are you in a relationship of convenience? Are you really in love? Are you just there waiting on something better until you can exit the situation?
Woo, child.
I mean, COVID taught us a lot. Quarantine taught a lot of people things that they did not want to know. So we're going to talk about that. So I want to thank Miss Ivory K for sitting in on the discussion
Thank you.
the diva. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Ivory K as, just to be truthful with you guys, I have so much going on and my platform is growing so much that I am literally having to expand Diva Speaks. I have so many speaking engagements and so many, I'm just being pulled in 20 different directions, and it's time to allow other divas to pour into the conversation and give alternative perspectives, and or just to keep the conversation going. Because a smart person knows sometimes you have to pass the baton, and I'm smart. So you will be seeing a lot more of Miss Ivory K as I am expanding my little empire. Don't forget to tune in to Diva Speaks Relationships on January the 22nd at 11 p.m. And if you can't make that session, no worries. You can find Diva Speaks on TV every second and fourth Friday at 11 p.m. Meet us back here at the podcast. We love to chop it up. We go live. As you can see, I'm doing this a little bit more often. It's because I got people looking at me, hunty. Yes, the networks is looking. So I have to do what I have to do so that people that are the higher powers that be can see enough of me to make an informed decision as to if I align with the talent that they already have on their platforms. True story. So tell a friend, tell a family member, tell somebody that don't like me. Tell them what, come to Diva Speaks Relationship Podcast. She may be talking about you over there. Yeah, guys, I'm keeping it in fun. Have a wonderful and blessed week. I thank you all for your support. And until the very next time, the Diva has spoken. I enjoyed you all. Hope to see you back here soon. Have a blessed week.
You've been listening to the Diva Speaks Relationships Podcast, the hottest grown and sexy relation conversation piece out of the Queen City, hosted by the Diva and Gayla Porter Real. We hope you enjoyed the show. Follow us on Instagram at DivaSpeaks_official. Let's stay connected.
Diva Speaks Podcast is the premier relationship podcast that explicitly deals with relationship matters from a woman's point of view. No subject is off limits. Relationship challenges, sex, intimacy, dating, infidelity, finances, heartbreak, and situationships are all a part of the discussion. Your relationship matters.